Hello and welcome along to another Blue Yonder video. I'm Alan, and today's video is slightly different to my normal videos in so much as it's going to be a Talking Heads podcast almost type format, and I'm going to be talking about the reasons why you need to plan your 2024 rides now and the reasons why you really do need to do them next year. First of all, you should never ever take health and wealth for granted. It's an old saying, but it's absolutely true. Irrespective of your age, you really do need to take seriously and not take for granted the fact that you're going to have continued fitness and health that's going to enable you to ride. So we've all got those anecdotal stories, haven't we, of people that we know who've been unexpectedly taken ill or suffered an accident which has impinged or even stopped their ability to ride at all. So, you know, bearing that in mind, if you've got the opportunity and you've got the funds, and that sort of ties into the wealth aspect, but if you've got the opportunity and you've got the funds, you really do need to actually get out there and do those rides you've been promising yourself and do them next year. And linked into that is having the time to be able to do them. And by time, I don't necessarily mean to say you've got months to do a round the world ride, but if you've got time, protected time, that you can go on a long weekend ride or a week ride or whatever format or duration that you're looking at, you've got to do it. If you've got that time, use it and use it to actually get out there and ride. So continuing that theme of time, who would have predicted at the beginning of 2019 that we would have a worldwide pandemic that would effectively close down normal life as we know it for 6 months or longer in many cases, and we saw huge restrictions on movement. So not only could you not go on tours, in many cases you weren't allowed to ride your bike for pleasure at all. So you can't take for granted that time that you think is going to be available to you actually will be available to you. Now, without wanting to sound too much like a prophet of doom, we have seen, haven't we, the ever encroaching anti-private vehicle ownership and use legislation, not just here in the UK, which is getting worse, but I think worldwide. And as I was saying earlier on, I think we're currently coming towards the end of that golden age of being able to ride when you like and ride where you like. So as I say, that legislation, that encroaching legislation, that anti-motorist, anti-motorcycle agenda just seems to be going from strength to strength, and I can only see it getting worse. I mean, here in the UK, for example, we've got the thing called ULEZ, which stands for Ultra Low Emission Zone, and that's in the major cities, and particularly in London. That's been extended and it's become more punitive if you have the audacity to ride your motorcycle or drive your car if it doesn't comply with the latest legislation into the centre of the city. And as I say, I can only see that being extended. Here in the UK, in Wales, they've taken it a step further. They've reduced speed limits to a crawl. They've put an arbitrary 20 miles an hour speed limit in all urban areas, and that's irrespective of the type of road it is. It might have great visibility, it might be a superb road, but they've applied this blanket reduction from 30 miles an hour to 20, and that makes getting anywhere in Wales difficult. They're also reducing other speed limits in tandem with that. So 60s have become 40s or 50s, and 40s have become 30s. So your ability to actually ride freely is very much reduced. Allied to that, they're also talking about putting in road pricing. Now, again, if we're talking about riding in the UK, we could be in a situation whereby it's almost unaffordable for a lot of people to actually use the bike for any sort of long distance work. So again, this adds to that theme of you've got to get out there and you've got to do it now while you can, and while you can do it in an enjoyable manner. Okay, so they're the negative reasons why you should make the effort to actually get out there and ride now. What are the real positives? Well, there are lots of them. Let's just go through some of them, shall we? The first positive reason is that it just generates priceless memories. Those special rides are just things you will talk about for years to come to anybody who's prepared to listen. You'll bore your friends and family rigid with your tales of daring do, of where you went and how tight that hairpin was and how so-and-so nearly fell off. As I say, those memories, they just stay with you forever, and they're things that you just can't put a price on. And those special rides, you don't have to be like Itchy Boots, you don't have to be riding across Morocco or over the Himalayas. You can be much more restrained and conservative than doing things like that. And you don't need to put aside months to do these things either. You can have a good long weekend if you fancied riding up to, I don't know, to Tan Hill or any of the places in the Lake District you want to do Hard Knot Pass. You know, put a weekend aside and go ahead and do it. And as I was saying about the memories and the shared experiences, once you've got a group together, those memories and experiences just multiply. And it's great to have that camaraderie and banter between a group of riders who regularly ride together. And it's just a great place to be. And of course, there's been a lot of discussion, correctly so as it happens, a lot of discussion on other YouTube channels about how it's good for your mental health. And riding it's definitely good for your mental health. I mean, we all have those day-to-day pressures, don't we, where there's things on your mind, things that are troubling you. When you climb on your bike and when you go for a ride, it doesn't have to be a long ride, but when you go for a ride, because you're having to focus and concentrate so much, all those troubles, all those things that are buzzing around inside your head, you can just park them to one side and you can just focus on the ride. And that is so good. So things that were really troubling you before you went out on the ride, 2 or 3 hours riding, you come home and that's all put to bed. You're not thinking about that sort of stuff anymore. And also regular riding outside your comfort zone. So I'm not talking about going every Sunday to this same bike meet point along the same roads. You don't actually learn anything riding wise as a result of doing that. But regular riding to places that you haven't been before. These all just add to your confidence on the bike and your riding ability. So when you're going down that road that you've been down a dozen times and you've seen that turning off to the left, and you think, I wonder where that goes. Where does that go? Next time you're going down that road, take that left turn, see where it goes. Even if it's a little lane, if it goes uphill, downhill, all the better. These are the things that you need to do to improve your confidence on the bike and your skill levels. And if you're doing that sort of thing, riding outside your comfort zone on a regular basis, your confidence and your machine handling will just increase exponentially. Now, if you're anything like me, I'm really old school, and I just love a good map, such as this Ordnance Survey map for South and Mid Wales. And I just love the crawling over the map, opening the maps out and going through them and crawling over the detail and planning your routes and thinking about your routes and the types of roads and the places where you want to stop for lunch and where you want to do overnights. These are the things that it's really, for me, this is real fun. This is as much fun, almost as much fun, as actually doing the ride itself. So that sort of detail, that sort of preparation, I really enjoy it. Maybe I'm a bit nerdy, but I do. I think it's fantastic. Okay, so we're coming towards the end of this little video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you find it interesting, please give it a like. And if you want to consider subscribing, please do so. That really helps the channel. So until the next time, keep it shiny side up, get out there on the bike when you can, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.